Have you ever wondered how much your life is actually worth? I don't mean the money in your bank account. I don't mean the price of your car or the size of your house. I mean the value of you. We often think that destiny is this big, giant mountain we have to climb. We think that to change our lives, we need to win the lottery, or get a massive promotion, or move to a new country. We wait for the big break. But what if I told you that destiny doesn't hide in the big moments? What if I told you that your entire future could be hidden inside something as small and as simple as a single cup of coffee? You might not believe me. You might think, how can a drink change a life? Well, today, I am going to tell you the story of a man named Elias, a man who thought his life was over, a man who had nothing left to lose. He didn't know it, but one ordinary Tuesday morning, he made a choice that cost him $5 and bought him a destiny he never could have imagined. Listen closely, because this story might just change the way you look at strangers forever. Elias was 32 years old, and to be honest with you, he was tired. You know that kind of tired that sleep can't fix? The kind where your soul feels heavy? That was Elias. For the last 6 months, nothing had gone right. First, he was laid off from his job at the factory because they were downsizing. Then his landlord raised the rent, and just last week his car broke down, leaving him with no way to get around except his own 2 feet. On this particular Tuesday, Elias had exactly $20 left in his pocket. That was it. No savings, no credit cards, just a crumpled $20 bill. But he also had hope, just a tiny bit. Because today, at 9 a.m. sharp, Elias had an interview. It wasn't just any interview, it was for a junior sales position at a massive company in the city center. The salary was good, it included health insurance. It was the lifeline Elias had been praying for. He woke up at 5 a.m. He ironed his only good shirt 3 times. He polished his scuffed shoes until they looked decent. He looked in the mirror and said to himself, "Elias, this is it. You cannot mess this up. You have to be perfect." It was raining hard that morning. Since he had no car, he had to take the bus and then walk 6 blocks to the office tower. The wind was cold, biting at his face. By the time he got near the office, it was 8:15 a.m. He was 45 minutes early. That was good. He wanted to be early, but he was shimmering. His hands were shaking from the cold, and his stomach was growling loudly because he hadn't eaten dinner the night before to save money. He saw a small coffee shop on the corner. It looked warm. The windows were foggy with steam. Elias thought, I have 45 minutes. I have $20. I can spend $5 on a hot coffee and a bagel to warm up and settle my nerves. I still have enough for the bus ride home. So he stepped inside. The bell on the door jingled. The smell of roasted beans and warm sugar hit him. It felt like heaven. The shop was crowded. Everyone was rushing. Businessmen in expensive suits yelling into their phones, students typing furiously on laptops. Everyone was in their own world. Elias got in line. He checked his watch. 8:20 a.m. Plenty of time. But as the line moved forward, the atmosphere changed. At the front of the line, there was an old man. He must have been in his late 70s. He wore a faded gray coat that was a little too big for him. He was leaning heavily on a cane, and his hands were trembling uncontrollably. The old man was trying to order a simple black coffee. The barista, a young woman who looked very stressed, rang it up. "That will be $4.50, she said quickly, tapping her fingers on the counter. The old man reached into his pocket and pulled out a handful of coins, copper pennies, nickels, a few quarters. He placed them on the counter, but because his hands were shaking so badly, the coins scattered. Some rolled onto the floor. He looked panicked. I'm sorry, the old man whispered. He bent down slowly, painfully, to pick them up. Behind Elias, the line started to grumble. A man in a blue suit sighed loudly. "Oh, come on, some of us have places to be." Another person checked their phone and groaned. "Can we just move this along?" The barista rolled her eyes. "Sir, please, the line is out the door." Elias watched this. He looked at the clock, 8:30 a.m. He still had time, but the tension was rising. The old man finally put the coins back on the counter and started counting them. $1, $2, $3. He dug into his other pocket. Nothing. He checked his coat pocket. Lint. He looked up at the barista with watery eyes. "I seem to be short. I thought I had enough. I'm so sorry." "Sir, I can't give it to you for free. My manager is watching," the barista said, pointing to a camera. "Next." The old man's shoulders dropped. He looked defeated. He looked like a man who just wanted a little bit of warmth on a cold, rainy day, and even that was denied to him. He started to turn away, leaving the coffee on the counter. The man in the blue suit behind Elias shouted, "Finally! Move it, old man!" Something inside Elias snapped. He looked at his watch. 8:35 a.m. He looked at the crumpled $20 bill in his hand. If he paid for the man, he would have less money for food later. He might not have enough for the bus. He might have to walk 5 miles home in the rain. But he looked at the old man's face. He saw the shame. He saw the loneliness. "Wait," Elias said. His voice was firm. He stepped past the angry businessman and walked up to the counter. "Put his coffee on my bill," Elias said, "and get him a muffin too, a blueberry one." The barista paused. The angry man behind him went silent. The old man turned around, his eyes wide. "Young man, you don't have to. It's okay," Elias smiled, though inside he was nervous about the money. "Everyone deserves a warm start to the day. Please, take it." Elias paid. It cost him almost $8, nearly half of everything he owned. The old man took the cup with shaking hands. He looked at Elias as if he were an angel. "Thank you," he whispered. "You have no idea what this means." "It's just coffee," Elias replied softly. "No," the old man said, gripping Elias's arm for a second. "It's kindness, and that is rare." Elias grabbed his own cheap black coffee. He checked his watch. 8:42 a.m. Panic hit him. He had gotten distracted. The transaction took longer than expected. The conversation took time. He had 18 minutes to get to the interview, and the elevators in that building were notoriously slow. He rushed out of the door, leaving the warmth of the shop back into the freezing rain. Elias ran. He ran with his cheap shoes splashing in puddles. His iron shirt got damp. His hair was a mess. He arrived at the massive glass doors of the Sterling & Co. building at 8:58 a.m. He sprinted to the reception. "I'm here for the interview, for the sales job," he panted, out of breath. The receptionist looked him up and down. She saw the wet hair. She saw the mud on his shoes. She looked at the clock. It clicked to 9:01 a.m. "You're late," she said coldly. "It's 1 minute," Elias pleaded. "Please, the elevators." "Mr. Sterling is very particular," she said, typing on her computer. "But go up, floor 40. Hurry." Elias waited for the elevator. It felt like hours. When he finally reached the 40th floor, it was 9:05 a.m. He walked into the waiting room. A man opened a heavy oak door. It was the hiring manager, Mr. Marcus Sterling. He was a sharp-looking man in his 40s holding a tablet. "Elias Vance?" Marcus asked, looking at his watch. "Yes, sir. I am so sorry. I got held up at—" "We start at 9 a.m., Mr. Vance," Marcus cut him off. "In sales, time is money. If you can't manage your morning, you can't manage my clients." "Please, give me a chance," Elias begged. "I am a hard worker. I stopped to help someone and—" Marcus laughed, a cold, dry laugh. "That's a nice excuse," But we don't hire people who make excuses. We hire sharks. We hire winners. We don't hire people who are late." Elias felt his heart shatter. He thought of his empty fridge. He thought of the eviction notice. He thought of the $8 he spent on the coffee. "I was an idiot," he thought. "I threw away my future for a stranger." "I understand," Elias said quietly. He turned to leave. He felt tears stinging his eyes. He had failed. Just as his hand touched the doorknob to leave the office, a voice came from the corner of the room, a voice that sounded familiar. "Wait!" Elias froze. Sitting in a large leather chair in the corner of the room, hidden by the shadows, was another man. Elias hadn't noticed him when he walked in. The chair swiveled around. It was the old man from the coffee shop. He wasn't wearing the faded gray coat anymore. He was wearing a sharp, tailored suit. The cane was resting against the desk. Marcus, the hiring manager, looked confused. "Dad, what are you doing? I told you I'm handling this." The old man ignored his son. He looked straight at Elias. "You said your name is Elias?" the old man asked. Yes, sir," Elias stammered. I don't understand." The old man stood up. He walked over to Marcus. "Marcus," the old man said firmly, "you are looking for a salesman, correct?" "Yes, Dad, a shark, someone aggressive." "No," the old man shook his head. "You are looking for someone who understands people. You are looking for someone who sees value where others see nothing. You are looking for character." He pointed a finger at Elias. "This morning, Marcus, I went to the coffee shop downstairs. I wore my old gardening coat. I pretended to lose my money. I wanted to see how the people in this neighborhood treat a man who has nothing to offer them." Marcus looked shocked. You were testing people?" "I was," the old man said. "Do you know what happened? Dozens of successful people in expensive suits, people just like you, Marcus, stepped over me. They rolled their eyes. They treated me like garbage because I was slow and poor." The old man's voice cracked with emotion. "But this young man, he didn't know who I was. He had every reason to rush. I saw him check his watch. I saw the stress in his eyes. He knew he was going to be late, and yet he stopped. He spent his own money. He gave me his time." The room was dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. The old man walked up to Elias and placed a hand on his shoulder. "Marcus, you can teach a man how to sell a product. You can teach him how to use software, but you cannot teach a man to care. That is in the blood." The old man turned to his son. "Hire him and double the starting salary." Marcus looked at his father, then at Elias. He saw the integrity in Elias's face. He nodded slowly. "You start Monday, Elias." Elias walked out of that building 10 minutes later. The rain had stopped. The clouds were breaking, and the sun was shining on the wet pavement. He touched the $20 bill in his pocket. Well, what was left of it. He had walked in with nothing, thinking he had lost everything. But because of one small act, one single cup of coffee, he walked out with a career, a future, and a lesson he would never forget. You see, my friends, we often think we need to be ruthless to get ahead. We think we need to be faster, harder, and colder than everyone else. But Elias taught us something different. He taught us that character is what you do when nobody is watching. It's how you treat the people who can do absolutely nothing for you. You never know who you're talking to. The stranger on the bus, the person fumbling for change, the quiet person in the corner. They are all fighting a battle you know nothing about. And sometimes they hold the keys to your destiny. So the next time you are rushing through life and you see someone in need, stop, buy the coffee, hold the door, share a smile. Because that small act of kindness, it might just be the best investment you ever make. This is the story of how a cup of coffee changed a destiny. What will your story be?